It's extremely rare to see a friendship stand the test of time the way this one has. From the Phantom Menace all the way through the Rise of Skywalker, some 80 years, and these two remain as close as they've ever been. Last week we talked about R2-D2, and I promised you that this week we'd take a look at C-3PO. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. So let's dig in. What's up, LEGO fam? Thank you for joining me today. I'm Justin, and you're watching Good Life Bricks. We're going to talk today about LEGO Star Wars set 75398 C-3PO. This set was released August 1st for $140. It has 1,138 pieces, and it comes with one minifigure. And we're going to dig into all of that, but let's start by taking a look at the minifigure. This is the premier version of the C-3PO minifigure. It first appeared in 2022 in set 75314, Luke's Land Speeder, the UCS version. And everybody was kind of blown away because this has everything that you want it to have. You see it's got the arm printing, dual molded legs, although really only one of them is dual molded. The other one is just the typical mold color. But this gray matches up with what we saw in the movies. It's more of a silver in the movies, but this is nice. This is very nice. And look at this side leg printing, which for Star Wars minifigures is pretty rare. So you've got a completely decked out C-3PO. It's even got the back printing. Good looking minifigure. Perfect for this set where C-3PO is the focus. And, you know, the quality of this minifigure is part of the reason why people were a little upset that we didn't see something with this level of detail in the Jabba's sail barge build. And I understand that. I mean, this is a very nice looking minifigure. It's got all of the detail that you could possibly want, and it's really, really nice, and it's a great inclusion. Of course, it's going to be the inclusion for this set. So again, he was first produced in 2022 with a UCS version of Luke's Land Speeder. So he's been around for about 2.5 years. The main attraction, of course, is C-3PO, and we have his plaque here that gives all the details. You see the creator was Anakin Skywalker. Talks about his affiliation, all the equipment and his capabilities. Fluent in over 6 million forms of communication, the classic C-3PO line. So the build itself is pretty iconic. They really hit all the key notes here. And while I may not personally be the world's biggest C-3PO fan, if you just look at the detail, it's pretty amazing. Looks like they used some special gold colored pieces for the head mold. That's not something that we typically see, but great addition here. And one of the things that you would note as you go through this kind of slowly is there's a variety of colors. You've got some gold right here, true gold, and then this more kind of pearl gold, and then a slightly different variation of that over here. So, you know, you might ask, well, why so many different colors? And I think it's pretty right on, because C-3PO was a mess kind of with different colors. Even when he was clean, you know, he still had that silver leg, which looks very nice here. But even that is a multitude of grays and silvers. But the body design itself is phenomenal. They really nailed it. They put him on a stand that looks like it's made out of sand that kind of harkens back to Tatooine, which is really where we saw C-3PO for the first time twice. I mean, we did see him on Tantive 4 in A New Hope, but where we got to know him was on the sands of Tatooine, and then the first time we saw him in A Phantom Menace, which is right after he was created, before he even had his gold body, was on Tatooine. So there's a lot of great detail. They did a good job of recreating the back plates that I think are pretty iconic. Look at his posture. The C-3PO posture comes through here with the kind of the very straight legs, very straight back. His arms move. They don't really articulate. They're held in this position, and you've got these braces here that aren't connected, but they kind of look like they're connected. And that's true in the movies. His arms don't ever go fully straight. A lot of printed pieces. This is not a decal, it's printing. This is printed. This is printed. These are decals. The wiring across his abdomen, and it goes all the way around. But that's really it. I think there might be some decals on his hand. Yep. But otherwise, you've got a lot of printed parts. The arms are on click wheels, so they move kind of one segment at a time. You notice that they have the silver pieces between the arm and the shoulder, which is true if you look closely in any of the films. These pieces here are very visible in the movie if you look closely. All of these pieces are very accurate, even this spoon piece at the top of his head. Just a phenomenal job of recreating this droid. He's built into the stand, so there's very little chance of him falling over. He still wobbles in there a little bit, so there's some little limited freedom of movement. When I think about this, just similar with R2-D2, just the lengths they went to, they being Lego, to recreate these iconic characters, I just so appreciate it. I just think it's fantastic. I think he looks great. The only problem that I have with him is his eyes. Those inverted dishes, I think they just look too big. I am not one to complain about somebody else's work, but I'm also going to call things out if I don't really care for them. And these eyes, I don't like these pieces there. You know, whenever I think about C-3PO's eyes and what they should look like, I always think of that scene where Salacious Crumb is pulling his eyes out, or one of his eyes out, on Jabba's sail barge in Return of the Jedi. That's the only problem that I have. Again, I'm not a huge C-3PO fan, but this build is tremendous. It just hits all the right notes, like I said before. It is exactly what you would hope and expect it to be. And even if you're not a fan of C-3PO, you can be a fan of this build. Lego knocked it out of the park. I really think they did a great job, and I'm glad I have this build. Again, it's 1,138 pieces, so it's packed tight. It probably took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to build. It was pretty fun. There were some parts that were a little bit monotonous. The legs take a lot of work, and they're basically the inverse of each other. So the only difference you have is the silver and gray coloration on this side. The arms are that way too. I mean, that's what you're going to get from a character, right? You're generally going to have 2 arms and 2 legs, and so you're going to have some similarities in the build, but the legs did take up a lot of the time. But generally, it was a fun build. I enjoyed it. I like this character, and I think the reason I started the video off the way that I did was because I think these 2 figures, R2 and C-3PO, belong together. I mean, not just as friends, but as Lego builds. they belong together and display very well together. Even from the point where you can move C-3PO's arm like this and R2 fits right underneath it, like the scene at the celebration at the end of A New Hope, when he's standing there and he rests his arm on R2's dome to calm him down just a little bit. It's an iconic scene, an iconic pose, and that's the way I have them posed when I set them up in my display room. So a good build, a fun build, not the most fun build, but still fun. I just love Lego Star Wars, and I love to build Lego Star Wars. And so anytime I get a chance to build a new set or rebuild an old set, I'm going to do it. This is an exciting set, an exciting addition to my collection. One I would encourage you, if you have the R2 build, you need the C-3PO build. They go really well together. Well, thank you for joining me today. I'm really glad you were here. I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you did, I hope you'll click the like button. And I'd like to remind you, please, to subscribe to the channel so that you can always have updates whenever I release new content. I really appreciate you. The last couple weeks of working to build this channel has been a lot of fun, and I couldn't do it without your support and the comments that you leave, and it's been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm really enjoying myself. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.